Hello and welcome to BrittanyRest.com, a place of encouragement for the world-weary believer. And my prayer is that when you read these blogs and watch these videos, that you are encouraged and that you are refreshed. But I also hope that you're challenged because sometimes that is more necessary. And we're going to have a little bit more of a challenge conversation today as we finish up the book of 1 Samuel, which we've been in for months now. And it's been quite the journey as we've studied people like Samuel and Saul and David. But we're going to see at the very end of this, the end of Saul's life. You know, for many chapters, Saul knew that God was going to take the kingdom from him because of his continued acts of disobedience. They started out small, as they often do, even with us, where you tell a white lie there or you skim a little bit of money off here. Nobody's going to know. With Saul, he started out with, well, Samuel's not here yet. I got to make the sacrifice. I'm going to make the sacrifice to God. But it wasn't for Saul to do that. And so it started out with something like that. And his acts of disobedience continued. They snowballed into bigger and bigger acts of disobedience where we've been studying the last few chapters where he wanted to take David's life. For a long time, he tried to do that. So, as a result, God told Saul, I will take the kingdom from you, and I will give it to David. And Saul knew this was coming, but unfortunately, we don't just see that here. We see his life taken and the lives of his family taken. And that really goes to show that the choices that we make, the sins that we make, they don't just affect us, they affect the people around us. And there are consequences. It's just the way that it works. It's natural. When you do something, there's going to be, it's cause and effect. Well, there are going to be consequences to the sins that you commit, and especially if you don't deal with them, they're going to get bigger and bigger, and then it's going to be harder and harder to deal with. I can speak to this because I've been there, and I've made a lot of mistakes on my faith journey since I became a Christian at 16. About 5 years ago, I was in my very first relationship, and I wasn't prepared. And I had sex outside of marriage, and I did go, had to go through that walk through that with my pastors. I had to step out of ministry and go through a season of restoration. It was the hardest thing I ever went through, but it was also the most helpful thing I ever went through, and I'm so thankful for it, as hard as it was. But we need that. We need to feel the weight of the mistakes and sins and the choices that we make so that we can turn from them, that we can repent, that we can grow, that we can mature. And so, unfortunately for Saul, he didn't do that. And much more than the kingship being taken away from him, his sons were killed, he was killed, and it's not a great ending. And again, it's not the most encouraging message. But when you're in that situation, it's the most important thing that you can hear. So as much as I want to be encouraging, I also want to share with you the things that you need to hear. And so I hope that you'll keep reading below. And if you are carrying some sins, some weight that you haven't dealt with, I pray that you'll do that today, that you'll go to God, you'll figure out what it is He wants you to do. If that means you should confess. And if that means you have to step out of ministry or walk away from a relationship, then do it. I know it's not easy, but I promise you it is so worth it. And so I am praying for you, and I hope that you'll join me right back here next week as who knows, maybe we'll go to 2 Samuel, maybe we'll start somewhere else. But again, I want you to come back and be encouraged, refreshed, and challenged. I'll see you next week. Bye.